These days, I seem to be fairly well known.
Yeah.
It didn't really click in my mind, I think, until I had communicated with the people behind Marky's Meat Market that I have actually built up a little bit of popularity in my area, so that probably helps.
Yeah, welcome to Voices on the Wind. I'm Toby Lyles and my esteemed son,
Maverick Lyles.
Hey, we are happy to bring to you a special guest today. This is a little bit different than what we do. We have Draven Starr of the channel Optopolis. Draven, I hope I'm saying that right. And he's, we'll call him an archaeologist of sorts. Yeah. But he goes into current businesses. So what I love about what he's doing is he's highlighting businesses and promoting them, which of course is something that I deeply care about. But what I also like is that he's building up a brand of his own in the process. So in supporting others, he's building up a brand, and he's certainly finding great ways to monetize that, but he's trying to do it in an ethical way. And while he's doing it, he's becoming pseudo-famous locally, and thousands of views, hundreds of videos. He's probably being very modest with this, but he's got some good stuff out there.
Yeah, we have a channel. We have stuff we're curious about. Our newsletter, and that's where we just have stuff we're learning from entrepreneurs, as well as just fun business lessons and stuff like that. And we just that's where we have a lot of thoughts and a lot of ridiculous stories. And it's very fun. So if you have not checked that out, that's votw.substack.com. That's where you can subscribe to it. Definitely worth it. We also have a entrepreneur program coming up eventually. So if you're interested in that, or have any thoughts on stuff you'd like to see us do, you just reach out to us on our socials. That's Instagram, Facebook, as well as our website, which is not Voices on the Wind, but it's actually 24 Sound. And it's 24sound.com, right?
That's right. It's all one word, all spelled out. TWENTYFOURSOUND.com.
Yes.
I need to be one of those fast guys at the end of the radio, you know?
24. Yeah.
TWNT will not, it's not responsible for, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway. Hey, we are excited to bring you Draven Starr. This is a fun interview. Here we go.
For those of you that don't know me, my name is Draven. I run the Optopolis name across YouTube and other platforms, and I have been documenting retail-related topics for the past over 5 years, since 2019, when I officially uploaded my first exploration video.
Which you have quite a few on there. How many do you have?
Oh, over 100 for sure. But when you kind of zoom out of what I do and look at the bigger picture, which is that I talk about things in the urban environment, my interest for that has really been there as long as I can remember. When I was younger, I liked to, learn about traffic control and city building. As I got older, I got into gaming, and even at that point, I was starting to find abandoned exploration specifically, and eventually I started finding.
I just need to point out that, some people, when we're kids, gaming is a pretty standard kid thing.
That is a standard thing.
Traffic control.
That's it.
Not as
okay. So for me,
you put them in the same sentence.
Yeah, I did. So I guess for that, I actually, when I was a kid, I liked the signs and traffic lights a lot. I don't know, just what I liked, and I like city building in general too.
Yeah.
So I have a collection of signs at home that I got when I was younger. I just liked signs. It's just my thing. Eventually that developed into where, again, I liked the gaming stuff.
Okay.
I like to do like video games around urban stuff. So I remember watching videos. I wish I had gotten this game. I remember watching videos of City Bus Simulator 2010 specifically.
I kind of remember something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it had a story mode in it. Nice. But of course, I eventually got into like the GTA series and Forza. And with time, I also started finding interest in like exploring of abandoned places specifically. Okay. So, what I'd see videos of people going inside of abandoned places. In my video games, I literally go to abandoned buildings that are in them if those existed, which GTA 4, GTA 5 both have those. And I would say, what was it? Maybe around 2018, I started to really find interest in more retail-specific topics. And that's when I, started finding channels out east that would document Kmart's and other stores like that in their area. And, those people just, they're out there a ways. It's hard to come to Wyoming, especially when you want to maybe do with the places in your own area. And when I realized that there's not really many people in my area doing a lot of it, it was kind of an obvious thing to just start trying to do that. And let's see, I think the first official video I actually uploaded, although it wasn't the first video I'd filmed, it was actually kind of a weird one. So it's of a space that at the time I had forgotten, but I now recall was a Walmart recruitment center for Cheyenne's second Walmart. When they were building that, they were using that as kind of a spot to recruit people. And in hindsight, that's why there was a Walmart logo in the back of that space. So that was an interesting video. And I think I even had visited the newer Walmart very briefly in that video, which ironically is foreshadowing, even though it wasn't intended.
What was it about that Walmart recruitment place that drew you to it?
It was just an abandoned space that intrigued me. It had been vacant for as long as I can remember. So I might have been even when I was a little kid, even before I was born, when the last thing besides the recruitment center was there, and I stumbled across the fact that the Walmart logo was there, and that just threw me off. I was like, what? I don't remember that being there. I don't remember Walmart ever having anything at this space. And then, of course, eventually it's like, oh, yeah, that's right, it did. But
you told me that even as a young kid, you were walking by abandoned buildings or buildings and you were just curious. What's inside?
Yeah. So that's another thing. So when I was very young, I do remember, going for a walk or whatever, and I'd be kind of curious what a certain place looks like after it closed or whatever. Yeah, so there was that particular spot for just one example, of course, whereas it just intrigued me when I was younger. And it wasn't like, I'm going to go film that, but it was a moment of like, I wonder what that looks like in there, and wonder what that used to look like. So, I guess that's kind of a little bit of my reasoning for doing videos these days, is that nothing lasts forever. And even if it lasts for a long time, it's still kind of cool to be able to look back and see what things looked like. And also of course, nowadays I do a lot more stuff around like current events. So it helps get the word out as well more about what's happening in the Cheyenne community and any city beyond that. But Cheyenne's kind of my core base.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably something that some people aren't thinking about unless they get to that historic registry. But there's a big problem where we'll forget the history of a building or devalue what might have been in the past.
Possibly, yeah. I've definitely had that experience where I'd be thinking, man, I can't even remember what the year was that this place closed anymore. It's just been so long for one thing or another. So it helps to have a video as a reference point of when things happened, for sure. Especially if you're, I don't know, even for someone in the future, it'd be nice to be able to kind of look back and look into what things were like at one time and learn from that. So there's also that too. There was a Toys R Us I went to quite a bit when I was younger, the newer one. And I remember the last time I had gone there, it was the last holiday season before they closed. I almost was like, I should pull out my camera, but between not having the experience of filming and also just wanting to hope and enjoy it, because I wasn't sure when I'd be able to come back, if I would be able to come back, which I wasn't. I wanted to experience it in addition to just, again, not having the skills back at that time with figuring out how to do videos and stuff.
And you're saying Toys R Us was something that mattered to you?
That's definitely one. Yeah. So there's Toys R Us was one place where I got what were they called? They're like little, I think they call it green light. They had like a hot pursuit series of cars that were like all police cars and stuff. So it's like, I liked collecting those and being able to put them on my little tracks and stuff. So that was one of the many things I went to Toys R Us for over the years. Was of course to be able to collect different things that I didn't otherwise have and be able to have a little bit of amusement with them in my youth.
Yeah, that's fun. What's one that you've done that has that's just been really rewarding that you got it done?
I think one of my favorite ones to date, just because of the subject matter, was actually doing Kmart, because I completely missed my opportunity to do the store here. And of course, back then I again didn't have as much skill. I kind of thought maybe someone would come out here, but of course it's like, well, they're all the way out east, so they probably won't. And it's like, I can't blame them. That's a long drive. So I made it a point to document the Kmart in Loveland, since I was like the last one within reasonable driving distance of Cheyenne. And that's what I did. So I did videos of it when it was non-closing. After I found out that it was in fact going to close, I did an initial video there. And then on the last day, I wound up doing a video as well. And of course, eventually that got replaced by Jack's, which is for those of you that maybe aren't familiar with the Cheyenne area, Jack's is like a family-owned, I almost don't want to say chain, but sort of a chain of farm and hardware stores that primarily currently only has stores in Colorado, but they used to have one location in Iowa due to that's where the person's parents kind of started, if I remember right. And they also end up having a location here in Cheyenne as well that also took over that Sears. So, of course, I did a video of that. And there was also one point more recently, after it was announced that they are going to close it, I ended up talking to one of the Quinlans who own the Jack's brand, and ended up working with him to actually do a video from the train that went around inside of there.
Yeah. They had a very fun train.
It's a pretty big train, pretty big model train that went around the cafe and all that. So fortunately, it was functioning. A little bit iffy, there were spots where it got caught up, but it was functioning. So I was able to get a good drive, not drive around, but like ride around on the train from up there, which gave a unique perspective of the store, and just was something different that I don't think they've ever done, and I know I never have seen a video like that. So from their particular train, so
that's worth checking out right there. Yeah, that's cool. Have you ever recorded anything that just went south?
There's definitely been a few times where, for one reason or another, someone that unfortunately isn't comfortable on camera or whatever. So even if I'm never even pointed the camera at them, they might actually get concerned about having me walking around with the camera. Because it isn't exactly commonplace. Maybe more so now, but not exactly commonplace for a lot of people to go around and do videos of places. So
how do you respond to that?
It depends on the circumstance, I think. So there's one instance I remember of a store where for one reason or another, it caught the attention of management, and I think it was a store manager that had come out and just made sure I wasn't doing anything like sketchy or anything. And once he understood that what I was doing, he's like, "Oh yeah, that's cool. Okay, just don't go in the fitting rooms or bathrooms or whatever." And that's like, I wouldn't do that, man. I wouldn't do that.
But they didn't know, huh?
Yeah. It could be a concerned customer. Who knows? Yeah. It's kind of weird how people. I don't want to say they do, but there does seem to be that some people kind of feel like they should have privacy in an area that's public. Where there's no expectation of privacy. And, there is one time at the mall, actually, there was the book sale out there. And, I did my video inside, no problems. But outside, I was getting a clip of the mall, right? Getting a good clip looking towards the mall and just for whatever the B-roll was. And there was this one individual who drove by who for some reason was convinced that I was like specifically recording him when I don't know if I even got him on camera. And of course that was a awkward confrontation when he drove by me in the parking lot. But
was he angry, or how did that go?
I don't know if necessarily angry, but just, I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe. I think sometimes it does just come down to people are uncomfortable on camera and they freak out over that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm not real happy if someone just points the camera at me.
Sometimes,
even if it is public, right? It's kind of weird.
It can be a little
which
awkward.
Is not what you're doing.
No, for sure. I try to avoid. Of course, I try to avoid like being in the way of other customers and of stuff like that when I'm doing my videos. Mm-hmm. So I do the best I can to go my steer clear of like intentionally grabbing people's faces on camera. Yeah. Mm-hmm. A lot of times if a kid accidentally ends up on camera, I obviously have to go in and blur that because that could be a problem.
Mm-hmm. It could. Yeah, there's like a level of respect or even protection that you need to provide. Yeah. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, maybe something like that, yeah. I guess one thing I'll add is that thankfully it's pretty rare that I have people that get nervous about it. Most people seem to be neutral or supportive of me filming. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, that's good. Yep. Well, especially if they know what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it helps, but locally you're fairly well known.
These days, I seem to be fairly well known. Yeah. It didn't really click in my mind, I think, until I had communicated with the people behind Marky's Meat Market that I have actually like built up a little bit of popularity in my area. So that probably helps.
Yeah, it does.
That really sparks another moment. So there is definitely some channels out there that have done things that I would not endorse on camera, and I do wonder if that could be some of it. So I guess as a kind of a little bit of a side thing, I hopefully want to show that just because someone's holding a camera doesn't mean they're doing something sketchy. Yeah, like they might actually be doing something good, which I think in my case I am doing something good.
Yeah, I think you are. When was a major change between starting and like, I don't know, success or a big video you did or,
I don't know. For me, it was kind of pretty gradual. It wasn't like something that was overnight or anything. Okay. Way back when I very first started, I kind of had an idea of I want to have like montages in my videos of kind of showing different angles of places that either maybe you would have seen or maybe you wouldn't have seen, depending. And of course, back at the time that I was very, very first starting to film stuff, I also was taking a class on like videography and news and stuff like that. So I gained a little bit of experience from that with like figuring out different angles of shots to get. So, like you might get a worm's eye that's way down here, or you might get a high angle shot that's way up here, etc. I'm not going to get too specific because that's not the focus of the podcast, but I started there, and eventually I started finding a more of a, I don't know how to describe it, kind of wrapping my hands around things, I guess, and finding better understanding of how to do my videos and stuff. And I think as I got better, it definitely helped with just videos being seen more, of course. Mm. So, if you have a video that's super shaky, of course, that's very unwatchable. And, some people might watch that, but it's going to be hard for the eyes to follow. But if you have a pretty stabilized video, which eventually I got better at doing more stabilized stuff, it's going to be a lot easier to watch because it's smooth and buttery,
Which is hard when you're walking.
It is very hard when you're walking. Yeah. So that's definitely where having the right gear definitely comes in for that circumstance. The gear that matches the environment.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm hearing that's maybe one of the transitions is that transition from learning how to stabilize, from
and just in general doing video editing too.
Video editing, okay.
Because of course there is a lot of editing that goes into doing my videos. So,
how many hours? Let's say you record for 10 minutes, 30 minutes. What's the ratio for you?
I guess you mean in terms of like
editing,
how long editing
recording
versus recording.
So if somebody sees uploaded a 30-minute video online of yours, how much time should they think that Draven spent behind the scenes working on that?
So the amount of time it takes to edit a video definitely varies drastically for me.
Okay.
So there's a video I recently recorded, a couple months ago, recorded in Fort Collins of an abandoned restaurant, and that video was like pretty quick and easy to edit, but then there also just wasn't a ton of editing to be done. In other circumstances where maybe I do more of a documentary style video, that could definitely take hours and hours and hours, even days. The very first docu-style video I did, which was about the Cole Shopping Center, again, a shopping center here in Cheyenne, Wyoming. The very first like docu-style video I did of that, that definitely took a long time to properly film, research to the best of my ability at the time, and do all the editing. That took, because I started back in like late 2018 or early 2019 doing some video stuff of it, and geez, I don't think I released that video till after I got out of high school. So that would have been over a year of just working on that particular video. Some of the more recent stuff where I did, I've done documentary kind of videos around Sears and Kmart specifically and their history in Cheyenne, which both have had multiple locations in town. In that case, I took a good, I want to say maybe a good couple months trying to find photos and news articles and stuff like that discussed it. And there's certainly still some things that I haven't found yet for one reason or another on those topics. So there's definitely things that I learned from people that were around before me that maybe I wouldn't have thought of. As I've done more research, gone through the city directories and gone through the newspaper articles, I found out stuff on my own too a lot more. So for example, I found out that Taco John's at the Frontier Mall was originally a Tacos ETC that actually was a lot smaller, and next to it actually was an Orange Julius, a little tiny sliver of a restaurant right there. Yeah.
Huh.
Yep. One thing that I haven't specifically dug up, but I've been told about from other people in my life, is that we actually had an Arby's at Frontier Mall, and that Arby's actually had touchscreen system for you to place an order and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah. It's very futuristic for the time, considering that back then you would have had the big bulbs for the screens. You wouldn't have had the little flat screens that you have. I mean,
those big old school CRTs.
You don't even have flat. This is you didn't have.
No, that
this
doesn't
back
exist.
then.
Yeah.
So
I didn't even know they made those touchscreen.
Yeah, that was intriguing to me. I actually recently saw a photo from one of the pages online that talks about stuff retail-wise. I recently stumbled across a photo of what that would have looked like, and I guess it kind of would have looked like an angled panel with screens in it that you look down at to actually put it in versus these days where you might have a big old screen, fit right in front of you that you go through and tap through. And of course, if you're going to McDonald's or Taco Bell or really any of the major chains right now, a lot of them will have those kiosks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, your name, Optopolis. Did I say it right?
Optopolis, yeah.
Optopolis. You said everybody messes it up. I thought I was going to get it right.
I don't know about everybody, but there's definitely some people that maybe don't immediately catch on to the right spelling, or maybe that it's more that they have it autocorrect. So it's not been uncommon for autocorrect to try and put a C in there or something instead of a P.
Yeah.
So I guess it would be good to give some context as how that name came about. So this actually goes back to my gaming days. I was given a random gamer tag generated by the Xbox stuff that I think it was like optional Peak 21, or I think that's what it was.
Okay.
When I got into gaming, I was like, well, opt is short for optional. I'm a gamer, and then I took the 21 from that. And then eventually, when I got into the retail stuff, I did consider a lot of different naming options, but ultimately I was like, well, I want to keep a subtle tease back to that for the OGs that will see it and be like, oh yeah, I see that. So,
Okay.
So I ended up shortening it down to just taking the opt part, and I was like, well, I'm doing videos of places in the cities and stuff, and cities are metropolises.
Yeah.
So that's where Optopolis came from. Sometimes I've even kind of expanded out to say Optopolis, the metropolis in the past. So actually a long time ago, I had a design that had like a sign that said Optopolis Metropolis on it for a long time. But for the most part, I usually go by Optopolis these days in that respect.
What are you thinking about? I mean, you've done, like you said, over 100 videos. I don't have no idea how many hundreds and hundreds of hours you've spent working on it.
Oh man!
So you've built up something significant, right?
Yeah. So I guess
what's next?
That's an interesting topic. I think for me, doing this is definitely coming from a point of passion and just interest in seeing places be remembered, and of course, allowing people to be able to kind of experience the places and learn what they can do to go experience it if they actually want to check it out in person, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't foresee a point anytime soon where I'll stop doing videos like this, obviously. I very much anticipate easily another 5 years of going for sure. But obviously there is definitely room for expansion of like sustaining my own life outside of YouTube. So there is definitely a little bit of room to grow there in that respect that I haven't figured out yet. I'm still very young at this point, right? So I'm still in my early 20s.
You're still working on it, but you've got a good following, and you said you've got a Patreon where people can support you. Yeah?
Yeah, so a
YouTube.
Yeah.
Whatever it's called.
Yeah, the YouTube memberships and all that too. So back in maybe late 2019, early 2020, I obviously had realized that, it's going to take being able to fund the journey. And of course, it's not free, right? Unfortunately, you got to keep the gear maintained. It costs to travel and all that stuff. So I started exploring possibilities of different ways I could fund that aspect of the channel. And I think the very first couple of things I looked into was obviously Patreon, which I had talked about. I think I forgot to mention it, but with you before when we had communicated, but I had also started putting my photos into like a stock photography agency so that it can be used editorially.
That's cool.
Right. So cool thing with editorial photos, don't need releases. If anything, that's frowned upon because the whole point is for it to be, documenting something so that it can be talked about in the news or whatever. Those were like the first two things. Eventually, I was able to get into YouTube Partner Program and it further expand ways of supporting the journey. So initially, I had to put all the ads on the videos because it's like that's the obvious step. And eventually, I ended up opening up the memberships on there. Initially, I wasn't sure if I was going to, but I eventually realized that Patreon or YouTube, vice versa. Not everyone wants to do one or the other, and I think it would just be better to have the option there. So in both cases, I like to try to upload a little bit extra content, just kind of tease into some of the more nuanced aspects that probably wouldn't appeal to the broader audience as a whole, but still might be of interest. Just as kind of my way of saying thank you. I think it's appropriate to do that. And let's see, what else? This would kind of been the main three. I eventually experimented a little bit with merch, but for me, it's not like the main thing or anything. So it's not been like a substantial part of the channel for funding things so much. More something I just do for fun.
T-shirt like you're wearing. So people can support you via your merch, via YouTube. I never use it, so I don't know. What's it called again? YouTube something or other? Subscriber platform?
Yeah, so you can... YouTube memberships is basically the YouTube equivalent of kind of doing like a Patreon or something like that.
Okay, and then Patreon.
His thoughts on, on how he created his like channel, I thought was interesting, because he just did what he wanted to do. Like he did, like I think that's something that a lot of kids are missing. But like it's like I want to do this, and so he did it, and he like put the work into like making it happen, and I really respect that. I thought that was, even though it's not necessarily a business yet, it is like taking a business but without the money in some ways, and he put so much work into it. I thought that was just really cool.
Yeah. He's consistent, which is the one thing I continue to tell folks that I'm working with is you need to publish consistency. And I don't think he's doing it on the same day, but he continues to put out content, and that's really important.
Yeah.
So he sticks with it. He's perseverant, and he actually is making money.
Yeah.
Right? He's got at least 2 channels of funding. He's got swag. So if you don't have Optopolis swag, that's how we ended it with him. It's just a fun way to support him. So we appreciate what you're doing, Draven, and thanks for serving our community. And maybe we all do the same. Maybe we serve the communities we live in. So till then, my friends, happy sailing.